Evening Reds, it's me, Asim, born and red, with me, Waxy and Jean in the building as Liverpool secure their knockout stage status with a convincing, I think I'm allowed to say convincing, after the first 35 minutes. So let's stick with convincing. With a convincing victory today. It was a bit nervous at the start, but we'll put those nerves down to the absolute nightmare in Nottingham. But I think class came through in the end. With me in the building to discuss all the game, break down the game, and provide a positive note tonight with the cheerful Gene for once. Gene, how are we, lad? Are you a lot better today?
Yeah, feeling a lot better after a sort of convincing win, let's say. So I'm happy. Can't really complain. On to the next round. So yeah, good to go.
Good stuff. Waxer, how are we doing? I didn't get a prediction from you this time, but it wasn't exactly 4-1 this time, was it?
No, but I gotta say, you know what? We've got the show spot on. It was a game of two halves, I'm telling you.
It was. Waxy, I'm having a few technical problems because I can't pin the comments up. So I think you'll have to take care of that as
I'll sort that out.
as people start coming in and providing their thoughts or even popping a few questions to us. Well, look, let's discuss. There were some issues around the lineup, few rumors flying around, even about Salah. Because I think, who was I telling? Gene, it was you, where I was saying, look, Salah's not looking great, especially after he got that knock. And it was, I think it was talked about like a hip injury, wasn't it? And as we know, if you played the game to any sort of level, I know you were pretty bad at it, Gene, but it's all right.
I wonder anything before I came into your team, man. Tell him what.
Danny goes, where have my glasses? I don't wear glasses. I didn't need glasses today, Danny. It wasn't 9-0, so I had to double check the score. My eyesight is not that bad. It was 3-0 to the lads. But Gene, look, even some rumors were about Salah, if that sort of gets, really cold, that hip injury, the movement is not really right. Nunez, tight hamstring last week. Is he going to come in? And with Liverpool now and Klopp, even the journalists who are quite close, really close to the club, they're just playing, a lot of guesswork in regards to the Liverpool's, formation. And I think I saw it on Twitter even today where Des Kelly was, tagged on a tweet saying, Des, can you ask Klopp in his pre-match interview as what formation we're going to play? And Klopp responded as in, you'll have to work it out yourselves. So we'll play that game today. And as Wahid says, big smiles today. Let's wait until the next game. So Itza is joining us. Unks is joining us from Gujarat, my neck of the woods in Pakistan. Big up, Unks, man. I hope you're well. Hope you're all enjoying yourself out there and staying safe. So thank you very much for joining us from Pakistan, man. Especially Gujarat. I have to give Gujarat a big shout out.
No comment.
Sorry, you Mirpuris, man. Look at their faces. Comment. Look at their faces. So let's go to the lineup then, Waxy. What did you think of the lineup? Was it as expected? Did you want something different? And I know you're going to say, no, it's exactly what I want because we won 3-0. But did you expect anything different?
Firmino, I think that was the only one that I thought was a bit of a surprise. I thought because he's played a lot of games. So I thought he might just maybe rest this one because we just need a draw. Maybe he could come on, maybe have a bit more of an impact. I thought Carvalho might have started and I thought it was going to be a 4-3-3 with Elliott in the 8, Hendo and Fabinho. I thought they were going to start because we don't really have any of the midfielders apart from Jones and Milner. So I expected, to be honest, I predicted the same lineup apart from Firmino. I thought Carvalho would have started. But Firmino did well today.
If you bring up the lineup, Waxy, as I go to Gene, look, it was a formation. It needed to be fluid because of the likes of Nunez and Bobby and Salah coming in from the line. Even though he was a lot of the times, narrow up there playing, receiving the ball to feet, we needed a formation that Liverpool were fluid with. But at times, I think, was it down to the nerves that because of the last result at Nottingham Forest and what all that game brought to us in terms of the sort of psychological instability going into this game, or was it that because Ajax were just a lot better than us? And I saw a few WhatsApp messages saying, "Oh, we can't keep the ball." But I think you have to give a bit of credit to Ajax that they started the game a lot better than us.
Yeah, they did. They started the game a lot better. Look, there was a lot of riding for Ajax in this game. They had to come out. They had to come out all guns blazing because it's a game that they had to win to have any hope of qualification. So we have to expect that from Ajax. They're the home side. They're the footballing side that were going to play the ball on the deck, and they were first to everything. We did struggle, let's say, for the first 30 minutes to get a hold of the ball. Our passes were stray. And we didn't really have anybody good enough, let's say, to keep hold of the ball and start to make some sort of play or make some sort of triangle in terms of passing. Keeping hold of the ball, we struggled with. Our passes went astray. We couldn't string 4 or 5 passes together in the first half. And credit to Ajax, look, they pressed us high, they pressed us well. And yeah, look, in terms of that, I thought we struggled more so in the first half an hour. But I thought once we got the goal, we did settle sort of thing. Last 10 minutes of the first half, we began to see some, Liverpool begin to start passing the ball a lot better, keeping the ball a lot better. And yeah, obviously we've got to come on to the second half later. But all in all, you've got to give Ajax still they're a footballing side, so they were going to always have some sort of possession being the home team.
Well, actually, there you see Fab, Henderson, Elliott, and Bobby. It looked like it was a diamond at times. It looked like a 4-3-1-2. I think a 4-3-2-1-2, 4-3-1-2, or 4-1-2-1-2. Call it what you like. It was very, very narrow at times. And I tweeted around about 30 minutes, if you're going to play some narrow midfielders, inverted forwards, and have that structure, the same structure that we've been seeing off the ball, generally speaking, when Liverpool changed from a 2-3-5 in build-up to a 3-2 in build-up, it meant you have to have Robbo really high, especially if you play Henderson. And I think Henderson played today. It was because what Gene said today, that the game was really, really important. We couldn't go into the game, into the Napoli game, needing a result because we've seen how good Napoli have been this season. So I think Henderson played because of the experience, even though I do not like Henderson on the left of a midfield or especially a left of a diamond, because he's not comfortable in receiving the ball. When he receives it, he doesn't know. There's only one way he's going to go, and he's going to look inside, and he's too narrow at times. And he can't go on the outside where Robbo's got the ball on the line. Henderson is just not going to go into those areas. And I tweeted, he needs to make a run of 20, 30 yards to receive the ball. But the irony is, our first goal came from that similar setup where he was found in no man's land. But that situation broke out where Salah had that, curved run, and you could play him in with an Old Trafford type of pass.
Old Trafford type goal, wasn't it? Yeah.
We know Henderson has, think about whatever you think of Henderson. We know he's got that in his locker, that pass with his outside his foot. But we'll come to the goal. But I think, that's why I think we needed to shore up the midfield. But is it because of our nerves that we started like that? Or is it because of the setup where the players are just a bit confused as in what we're going to play? Are we going to play a 3-2 build-up, a 2-3-5 build-up, a 4-3-3, a 4-3-1-2? So, I'm finding it difficult to, give you all these formations, never mind the players.
Asim, the thing is, Henderson playing on the left, we didn't really have any other choice, to be honest. We've got to look at our options. We've got Jones, but Jones can't, he's played his first game after a long time out with injury. He's not going to play another game straight away, starting. Who else could have had Milner? But I think Henderson was the obvious choice out of the two.
We've seen Curtis play that role.
Curtis would have played that role if he was match fit. He's only come back from injury, so you wouldn't expect him to start again after starting at Forest. Impossible. Yeah. But I think with the formation, I personally think it's all experimental at the moment. No one knows. Even Klopp doesn't know his best formation. Honestly, he does not know. He's trying to be honest, the injuries don't help. The injuries don't help with getting your formation, the correct formation that works, because you have to tweak it every single time. Thiago's dropped, with an ear infection, right? God knows he's not back yet. And you got to change the system a little bit. So Hendo has to go on the left. Because Elliot,
can you send some antibiotics to Liverpool and speed
yeah,
up that
forget this guy,
recovery?
man. Antibiotics, man. Something wrong with that guy, man. Flipping heck, man. He's been out for 5 days. Yeah, still hasn't had his ear sorted yet. But yeah, that's a different.
How quick is normally the recovery from like a
Yeah,
normal
come on,
ear
couple of days,
infection?
man. Unless he's lost his
Look
hearing.
at China. Look at China. He gets scared when Waxy goes off on one.
Yeah, because sooner or later, me and Humphrey can have it out. That's what it is.
But yeah, going back to the thing,
Yeah.
I think Klopp doesn't. Is all experimental today. We watched the 20 minutes, right? First 20 minutes,
No, it was
25 minutes, and every player was all over the place. Fabinho was on the left and the right. Hendo was on the left and the right. Even Harvey Elliott, God knows where he was. Everyone was all over the place. No one knew what the position was. They were chasing the ball, and that's why we're getting cut, because they were, we were trying to chase the ball, and then because no one knew where the position was. But then afterwards, I think it sort of settled down to about, I think it was like a 4-2-2-2, where you had like Elliott and Firmino just ahead of Hendo and Fabinho. Fabinho were in a bit of a middle central park, and Robbo was pushing up a little bit on the left. But Salah and Nunez were up top, no matter what. So Salah was central.
Gene, whatever it was, we started the game slowly again, and I'm not even gonna.
in 1 minute.
And we should have been. But if it wasn't for the woodwork that saved us, we could easily should have. It wasn't just that chance, was it? We should have been at least 1-0 down, and the woodwork saved us.
I don't understand how we can always be so naive and so lackluster when we start a game. I don't understand how we can be that bad in every single occasion. I don't know. To be fair, I don't know what it is. It's hard to point the finger at why we start so slowly. And yeah, look, they should have scored. There's no ifs or buts about it. It's a sitter. And yeah, we should be 1-0 down within 2 minutes, and then it would have been a completely different game. But we look lost. I think the simple truth is, first 25, we look lost. We don't know what to do. In transition, we look really bad. There's no cohesion in our play. Everybody just doesn't know what to do in terms of positioning. They don't know what to do. They don't know when to go, when to not go. Technical ability wise, I think we just don't have the nous to put our foot on the ball. And that's the simple truth. We just don't have the ability. And yes, we're good when it's all gun ho and it's all hardy down. Other teams are coming at us. We've got that. But truth is, we lack in so many different areas right now. And that's the truth. Yes, I can accept we did well. And we only settled down when we scored. Before that, we didn't really do anything. We didn't really create anything. I don't think we created a chance.
But Waxy, how does this team, sort of build momentum, build fluidity in their game? Liverpool's team, especially Klopp's teams, have been built on gathering momentum, gathering rhythm. And if they don't have a rhythm, and you can't legislate for picking up knocks and injuries, I understand that. But Liverpool have made some tweaks pre-season to their system, and now even during the season. So it's obviously going to affect, the fluidity of their play, isn't it?
True, but I think if you have your base firm and settled, so you got your keeper, your defense, like Gomez and Van Dijk, they have to be like the two now, unless Konate comes back, because Konate's been injured. And then you got to have your main person in the middle and your Salah and Firmino. You got to have your spine, and the rest will have to work around it. Because look, when you're playing football, all your 11 players won't get a 10 out of 10. Your spine have to be your 8, 9 out of 10. The rest fit in. The rest will be about 5, 6, 7. But your spine has to be 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. So as long as you got that available, the rest, the fluidity can work. And it's them that need to always step up. And the rest will boost themselves in terms of the playing. So as long as you got those, that's the thing. I don't think we've got the core spine ready yet, because obviously, your back two definitely will be Konate and Van Dijk. Gomez is filling in at the moment. In the middle, look, our midfield, no point going there because we talked about it all season. We don't have a spine in there. We don't have our midfield, so ignore that. And up top it's Salah, but Salah's obviously, he's changing formation so many times, far on the right, and then coming central, and then he's a little bit all over the place. But once, I think, the thing for us, I think the big thing is we won away from home.
Yeah.
I think that's important. I think against Man United we lost, Arsenal, Forest, all the way from home.
It's the green kit. We're not playing in that bloody white.
Come on, yeah, come on, not the, yeah, Chelo, get rid of this dizzy kit, man. It was making
No.
everyone injured. And
No, I think that's a fair point. It's a fair point. But you have to give credit to Liverpool that after the first 30, 35 minutes, they grew into the game, they started taking control of proceedings, China. And Waxy, I know it's probably going to be a question that probably related to the Nottingham Forest game more so. But I'll still ask you anyway, because I didn't really, get your thoughts by
didn't really watch it, to be honest.
by the run after we came
I
back from
didn't really watch it, but I watched one part of it, right?
Yeah.
And I was fuming, right?
Well,
I only watched 2 minutes.
But Waxy mentioned the word spine, and the linchpin of our, sort of defensive play, is and still is Fabinho in that role. And I read an article today that was just alarming, and it's probably, sort of explains why we are so weak off the ball, especially. We're committing too many people too far forward. But he was the monster, and you called him the general. He's got a few other names as well that we can call him. But he's been brilliant since he started for Liverpool after his sort of transition period of, learning the role a lot higher up rather than the sort of role he played in Monaco, more of a third centre-back role. But I'll quickly just read this article that it says it was on about the tackles made by Fabinho. And he said in Liverpool's Premier League winning campaign, Fabinho made 1.17 per 90 tackles. That has now dropped to 0.36. Also, 3 seasons ago, he made an average of 0.5 tackles in per 90 in the opposition's final third, winning the ball back high up the pitch for this team. So the counterattacks obviously, subsequently stopping because we were winning the ball back higher up the pitch. But that number now has fallen from 0.56 to 0.12. So it just shows you, and it sort of demonstrates the fact that Liverpool don't win the ball back. And in that first 30 minutes, I think it was sort of an example of that, where Ajax were winning the ball in decent positions, and but for their quality, the lack of quality, I should say, they should have punished us. You're on mute, China.
Look, Asim, I had a big rant on Fabinho only a few days ago, and what I actually thought about how good he was. I just said he was crap at everything this season. And look, winning the ball back, forget winning the ball back. That's just completely not his game right now. You should be lucky that we win any second ball. With his stats that you just mentioned, Asim, that's madness. If that's your defensive midfielder, and he's supposed to be the linchpin, like you say, the one who's the general who wins the ball back high, that is a massive drop for any team, but for even more so for us, because we're so reliant on combative. He's our main combative midfielder who's there to win the ball back. So if he's not winning the ball back, nobody's winning the ball back. But it just goes to show we've had to drop 10 yards deeper now because we're not winning the ball back higher. Look, injuries haven't helped because we've looked out of sorts. He's never really had Thiago. I don't know how many times him and Thiago have actually played in the two. Even defensively, we've looked shambolic, and it never helps us when you go 1-0 down straight away because you're always chasing. If you're 19 out of the 24 games that we've played, already chasing the game within the first 5 minutes, you're going to struggle. But there's a deeper problem with Fabinho. He's honestly, and I know a lot of people have said that, that is he over the hill? He's in his prime. There's no way he should be a player that's over the hill. He should be the main. He should be our main man right now because the others are a bit older. He's in his prime. He should be the main player. But honestly, he worries me so much now. Like, I wouldn't. I think 2 months. He's got something. He's gonna have to prove himself. I'm not saying kick him out of the team, because he's still in his prime. Any player can go through a dip in form, and he's going through a bit more than a dip of form. Psychologically, mentally, he's just not with it right now.
China, come on. There's one thing, man. There's one thing. He's got one eye on the World Cup. The guy's 29.
No, right? I don't buy that.
I
don't buy that. I really don't buy that.
No, come on.
Why?
I'll tell you why. I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Right. I personally think he's got one corner of his eyes. His corner eye, yes. His corner is going to one. to one side. And the reason why, because look, too. Firstly, he's in the Brazil squad. He's in the Brazil squad for the World Cup. Have they?
Does he get picked for Brazil?
Yeah, he is. He's in the Brazil squad.
Does he get picked?
He's in the Brazil squad. Yeah, he's going to the World Cup.
I know. Does he get picked in the first team?
Doesn't matter. That's irrelevant, though. Asim.
Okay,
That's
go on.
irrelevant. I'll tell you why. It's because look, Brazil have got one of the favorites, one or the two of the favorites to win the World Cup, especially with the squad that they've got. So Fabinho doesn't necessarily want to be. Look, the guy's Brazilian. You know, Brazilians are like Asians as well sometimes, right?
Yeah, Neymar's playing with his skin right now.
But Neymar's different. Fabinho has got different. For Fabinho going into the World Cup, his mentality is I'm going to the World Cup. If I play or not, fine. Listen to me. If I play or not, fine. I'm going to the World Cup. If I sit on the bench, I'm that squad. If we win the World Cup, I'm going to get a medal. I'm Brazilian. I'm going to get a World Cup medal. So I do not want to be out of that squad getting injured. I do not want to be in that squad. I want to be in that squad, and I do not want to get injured. Look, in the Fabinho, in his game, since he's played this season, has he gone in with the full throttle tackle that he used to do 3-4 years ago?
Oh, yeah,
Give me one. Give me one.
I'll tell you why. Because he's too slow to get to there.
No, even if he's slow, China, even if he missed tackles one, even if he goes full throttle on one tackle, even if he missed tackles.
I'm not.
Has he missed tackled a full throttle tackle? If he has and has gone in all out, then fine. He's not even done it once. Past 4 seasons, you know he's gone into tackles, crunching tackles. Look at the Suarez tackle. You know Suarez tackle against the Barcelona.
That was when he was in their prime, playing like flipping, going like.
Yeah, but guy's only 28, 29. He's not 32.
I think he's 29 years old, but you know,
I do. Okay, but the element is he's lost his legs.
It contradicts your point. You're saying he's sort of saving his legs for the World Cup, but he's also 29. Why is he saving his legs? He's nice and he's young and fresh.
No, that's I said. He's not saving his legs. I'm talking about saving his legs from an injury. He can play that role. He can play that hard-hitting role, but he's not going to risk his to get injured and be out of the World Cup.
Every other one second, he doesn't even start for Brazil. Really, it's always Casemiro.
I just told you the reason why. Forget about starting.
Yeah, so every other Brazilian is the same, and every other it's play for Brazil is exactly the same. They're playing well.
Well, actually,
the World Cup, they're playing well.
I'm telling you, he's look. The guys put Bruno Gomes is ahead of him. He's fine. He's ahead of him, but Bruno had to work hard to get into the Brazil squad because he was at Newcastle. Fabinho was at Liverpool. He was already going to be in the squad for Brazil.
Yeah, in the squad.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Squad.
He's got a chance of losing his squad the way some of these are playing.
No, it's been picked already. He's going to the World Cup.
Well, actually, I'd say that your argument would have, you know, some weight if this problem of Fabinho just started in the last month or two. I'd say, okay, I hold my hands up. He's probably saving himself.
Start of the season.
No, it's even prior to that.
Back end of last season, there's a reason. Back end of last season, there was a reason.
What was the reason?
He was knackered. That's why he got injured. That's why he pulled his hamstring.
So why is he knackered? He's at the preseason.
Yeah, but no one's had a preseason. That was not a preseason.
Okay,
it was 2 weeks. There are 2 weeks of preseason and 1 week in Far East for photographs.
Keep over, man. I say, he's on one right now. He's just trying to know.
It's the fact, man. No. We'll move on.
But look, no. Look, I just want to sort of put this right. Look, Waxy, I'd say you have got some sort of weight to your argument, but you can't say he is saving himself. If he was a starter for Brazil, Waxy, I'd say, TK, fair enough. But look, he's not even challenging in our defensive third as much as he was doing, since he started at Liverpool. So his defensive runs have gone drastically down. Why? Yeah, okay, that easy get out is he's saving himself, but everyone else is playing in the World Cup as well amongst the league and across Europe. And I think you have to say that this guy has been ranting. I'm only saying
it's an element. I'm not saying it's the only reason. Yeah, I'm saying it's an element.
There's another element to this, Gene, is in his defense, where Liverpool's tweak of where he used to play in a flat three with Henderson and Fabinho, Wijnaldum. Now he's expected to cover more ground because Harvey Elliott on the right-hand side is probably 5-10 yards further up. So that I get.
Okay, but right, you know what? I agree with you, and that was my defense of Fabinho was that he plays in a 4-3-3. We had a tweak, fair play, but Asim, truth be told, he's been crap for a little while. He just got away with it. Last season, there was times where he was bad. There was just he had a few games where he was good. He's been off it for a little while now. But last season we were playing a 4-3-3. What's his defense from last season?
Yeah, because Henderson was playing on that side after Harvey Elliott got injured. So he's going to get naturally more
Yeah,
protection.
but that's the thing. He was still that.
legs
It
in
wasn't so great. Even in the fourth, there was times last season. This is my issue. There was times last season, even in the 4-3-3, he wasn't playing great, right? So we just got away with it at times. Okay, that's my issue with Fabinho right now. I can accept, yeah, this season's tweak. Obviously, it's been we've sort of completely in a way changed the way we play, and injuries haven't helped. I can accept that. But there was times last season when he wasn't playing great in the 4-3-3. So it's not solely down to formation.
There we are. We've got Todd Malinder. He
So
just
he's saying with Fabinho, with Hendo, and whoever the Thiago and the couple of Gini Wijnaldum. So he's saying he wasn't now and then he's reduced his interceptions, he's reduced his tackling from then. Yeah. Why is that? You can still tackle, can't he now? You can still make an interception. You can still make a tackle.
What you have to realize is when we play a more progressive player in Harvey Elliott compared to a Naby Keita, a Jordan Henderson, Elliott's going to play that position differently to them two. But when we lose it, and you've seen Harvey Elliott further up that field, whether he's in a wider position or in an inverted position, when we lose the ball, and that's why our transitions have been absolutely shocking in defensively, is because Fabinho has to go. And if he's going to go, then he's going to... So how many times have we seen Fabinho running towards his own goal? Is because he thinks he's going to win it. But I think that it was that goal, Zaha Palace. That was an example of, does he need to go or does he just need to sort of hold the position? And he's from that sort of position, starting position, he's got too many yards to cover to win the ball.
So you're saying that Fabinho's problem has always been the same problem since he came to Liverpool?
No.
You're not get on here.
What I'm saying to you, he's the way that Fabinho plays, because he had extra cover, right? He had extra cover in midfield. He didn't have to move that much. You know, he didn't have to track back or go further because he had cover to his left and right. So there's less. So now he has to track back a little bit more.
Different types of midfielders. Then the other two were quite they were in their prime. They were combative midfielders as well.
So what's wrong with Fabinho then? No one's given an answer. What's wrong with Fabinho? Is his legs just gone?
I'm not saying
give me an answer. No one's given an answer. I'm giving out all these elements and say, look, what's wrong with him then?
This is what I'm trying to say to you. We don't exactly know. It's loss of form, fatigue, all of these things. But I genuinely believe that he will struggle to get back to the level that we saw him a few years ago.
Watch after the World Cup.
Anyway, boys, we're going to move on. After the World Cup. We're going to do a proper show on this, and we're going to discuss what's happened to Fabinho, and we're going to conclude with a proper show, a special show on Fabinho's demise or Fabinho's sort of return to form
after the World Cup.
After the World Cup,
during the World Cup, we'll have plenty of time to kill. But look, it took Liverpool 30 minutes, and we saw the first moment of brilliance from Liverpool, and we saw whether it was by luck or anything else, we rode it out and we started growing into the game. And like I said earlier, Henderson, because I don't like him playing in that left-hand side, is because at times he needs to go to the line and support Robbo and stretch the play and stretch their midfield. But he did find himself, and the ball broke loose, and he produced a brilliant ball for our king. And after that brilliant ball, it was just world-class from Salah.
Oh, it was brilliant. You know, watching. To be fair, that like you mentioned earlier, it was reminiscent of the ball that he played at Old Trafford, and that first time finish. I know it was a mistake from there, so he got a bit lucky to get into that position in the first place. But that finish was brilliant, man. That Salah finish, the ball, it was perfect, exactly what we needed at that time. And yeah, can't really complain. It was a brilliant finish.
Yeah, Waxy, if you put that at slide 1 up there, and I just wanted to show you what was wrong with Liverpool's sort of on the ball setup. And if you're going to play that, we've seen Van Dijk, Gomez, and Trent play that 3-2 build-up. We generally play the 2-3-5. But even though we sort of did play that at times as well, generally speaking, we started with this at the start of the game. And like I said earlier, because of Ajax were really, really good and they pinned us back, Liverpool's fullbacks were pinned back naturally, is because they started so well. They were pressurizing us. They were getting us, sort of harassing us in the middle of the park. And Liverpool were, running the other way. Well, if you're going to play this diamond, it looked like a diamond at times with Bobby at the tip of it, you have to make sure there is a switch and a get out. And that is this is probably a demonstration of the first, sort of from the minute 1 to around about 25 minutes. I took a screenshot of this and sent it to Waxy. And it shows you normally in this 3-2 build-up, Robbo has to be a lot higher. And if you see all the sort of heat maps of the last 2-3 games, and not even the last 2-3 games, you'll see a drastic change of this setup just after 20-30 minutes. And maybe it's a bit naturally as well. The moment we start sort of pinging a few more passes, gaining a bit more control, and we'll start sort of shifting the ball a lot better. But especially when Trent's got the ball, he needs an outlet. And even I think the commentator touched on it as well, that Robbo is growing and influencing this game a lot more. And I think you saw that, in the second goal as well. But Waxy, if you show the second slide, and it just shows you Liverpool had Robbo, 10, 15 yards further up the field. And look, it wasn't a coincidence Liverpool started playing better. Henderson started going inside and picking him out. He started sort of playing alongside Fabinho and playing that ball on the inside channels for Robbo to run. If they've sort of pressed us, that ping was, available from Van Dijk and Trent. So, 10, 15 yards, I'm not saying was, made all the difference for Liverpool's play. We have to make sure your fullbacks are high. And I think it's because of this nervous start, Liverpool were pinned back. But it took 30 minutes for Liverpool to work it out and start taking a bit more risks and playing a bit more like Liverpool. Do you want to come into that, boys, or shall I keep going?
No. Look, I completely agree. Even that's why Robbo was so poor in the. I thought Robbo was poor in the first half, but like you mentioned, Asim, he became very, very influential. Come towards the second half, he was getting a lot more.
He did well in the first half, Chinese. At the back end of the first half, he had that chance to drive forwards.
For the
two chances really came starting from Robbo.
No, I'm talking about the first before the goal.
Yeah, the first 20 minutes we were all bad. First we were all shocking.
No, he was. But Asim's 100% right. If you're going to play a formation like this, you have to be able that your fullbacks have to be able to be good enough to push forward because they need the link-up play. Because they're our creativity. So we missed that, especially in the first half. But second half, I thought Robbo was one of our best players. He was brilliant in the second half. It looked like the old Robbo. This is exactly what we miss when he's not playing. Because Tsimikas is good, but he cannot give you what Robbo gives you. He can get up the byline.
Robbo's got that drive. That drive when he gets the ball, sometimes he might take that chance, that punt of going forward. And he has that burst of pace to get past the player and he creates something. Tsimikas can't do that. Robbo can.
Gene, we'll go on to the second goal. After halftime, we got, I think what I was watching, it was around about the 47th minute where Liverpool started, I think playing the ball, switching it over to Robbo. But the corner came from Robbo's brilliant delivery. And I thought that was a highlight of our game is Robbo's delivery. It wasn't just sort of just placing it into area and expecting Liverpool players in the box. It was a delivery that he was trying to pick someone out. And we've seen it so many times over the years where when he does that, it's a lot better delivery because he's trying to pick someone out and not just put it in an area, expecting Salah and Darwin on this occasion to be in those areas.
No, he was brilliant. Look, the cross was fantastic. He had the whip, he had the pace on it. And look, we've got to give Nunez a lot of credit. There was two players around him. And for him to even get in front and pinpoint that header right into the bottom corner, that was, brilliant. Look, we've got a lot of messages just before that, the United fans and all that, coming out saying Carroll, yeah. Some of our own, let's not mention any names.
Remember, Carroll would have finished that as well,
yeah.
By the way.
But, after his miss, and look, let's not make no mistake, it was a horrendous miss. But
Shocking miss.
It was a shocking miss, but what a header, what a finish. And there was times where, I was still, even though with the miss, I was quite impressed with this performance. He gets back really well. There was an instance where on the edge of our box, he was the last
He
man.
made a tackle.
He broke forward.
His work rate is good. No, we can't fault his work rate.
And he takes us up the pitch very, very quickly. He's got raw pace, and which I'm so glad that he's got, and he has that part of his locker. So look, the goal was brilliant, and a good header, deserved goal for him. I think he's got more goals than the great Jesus right now. So yeah, not a bad start. 4 in 4 starts for Nunez now.
Yeah. Before I ask you your thoughts about Nunez, Waxy, Sheza, look, I spend too much time on this, but just to touch on it, he goes, can you do an analysis on how far apart each of the players were in the first 20 minutes or so, and why? Sheza, is mainly because of the formation. When we play a double pivot, Fabinho is a lot closer to Thiago, so Thiago is taking the onus on himself to start creating things, and naturally he's a lot closer to Fabinho, and making sure we play those sideward passes and just to sort of initiate the opposition's press and then play out of it. On this diamond, you're leaving Fabinho close, and you have to make sure Fabinho is the linchpin of that diamond. But when their players were pressing him, he's not exactly a press-resistant player. So all of a sudden, he can't drop a shoulder and beat his. How many times we've seen like a Frankie de Jong? Am I pronouncing his name right? De Jong. So drop a shoulder and sort of slightly differently in Thiago's case, where he can just spin on him and pass it and get out of that press. I wouldn't say Fabinho is a press-resistant player. So all of a sudden, Henderson was too far away from him, and on the other side it was Elliott. So I think we changed that because we put Robbo higher, and so we had that out ball. So then we could start playing those sort of places, little triangles on that side. But we just didn't have the balance in the first 20 minutes. Whether it was due to Ajax's better play, or it was because of the lack of balance. Some would say it was because of a diamond. We don't generally play a diamond. But whatever it was, I think that was made a really big difference of playing for Robbo higher up, so we had that out ball to beat their press. Hope that's answered your question. Waxy, not De Jong, Darwin Nunez. Look, I don't have a problem with him. You're going to see some Andy Carroll moments, so to say. But what you're also going to see is his brilliant intensity, where he drags their defenders from pillar to post. And he is very, very raw. But we saw the best of him in that sort of 30 minutes cameo against, Man City. Yes, he might struggle against a low block where he needs to be a bit more technical. But I'm fine with that, Waxer. I don't mind as long as he's running up and down that pitch, making an absolute menace of himself.
No, I agree. Look, Nunez is still young. He's, like you said, he's still raw. You can tell he's raw. He's still trying to find his feet. He's trying to find his own feet. I'm surprised he hasn't tripped up yet from his own foot. But yeah, look, he's going to get the goals. Look, we've got the attacking power. We've got the attacking mind. We've got footballers up top. So, he's going to score. He's not he's got providers. He's got Salah. He's got, Diaz. He's got, Firmino. He's got players and he's got people. Look, you've got to remember, he's got height. So he's perfect in the box. So I saw him in the first half where he was wide and Robbo was wide with him. I'm like, Nunez, bloody get in the box. Get your ass in the box, right? So Robbo can actually cross the ball and at least you can be a threat from these kind of crosses. And then obviously, look, he scored from a header. He scored in the last game against West Ham from a header. So I believe that, I think he needs to be more in the box. Like Jota was. Jota was more clinical in the box. Nunez, I like him going out wide, running at players, but I prefer to him to be the central point in the box because he has scored quite a few goals from his head. And I feel as though that for now, use that as his spearhead rather than put him out wide, trying to beat a player, trying to fight with Bassi and, that fake elbow to his face, that kind of stuff, just get in the box and, do your job. That's what I think he should be doing right now until he starts to get into the team, get the floor, get to the formations, do that job as a number 9.
Gene, I think Salah is building a relationship with Darwin on and off the pitch. I think he's genuinely sort of taken a liking to him. I think there was some comments I read where he said, "Look, Salah rang me up when I was struggling. I got that sending off, and he sort of assured me that it's going to become a lot easier, and you just need to put your head down and start working hard, and the results will start appearing." But I think on the pitch there is like I don't know, an urgency from Salah just to make sure he feeds, Nunez all the time as well. And I think that sort of duo, it's a lot better when teams come onto us rather than sitting. And it's not, I know David Nunez wasn't playing against Forest, but I think it would have been a bit similar, even though he was playing against Forest, where, we want that creativity, against a low block, which we didn't get against Forest. There's no point having Salah and Darwin up front when there's nothing but happening behind them. But today there was something happening behind them, and they were getting the chances.
Yeah, look, they are definitely building some, and we saw that in the first game that they played against Fulham, that there was some sort of chemistry there, and it's that's one that we really, Liverpool fans will be, we can't really wait to see that happen, because there is so much potential in these two, and with them two closer to each other going forward, I think these two just with themselves, I know, yes, we need creativity, but these two themselves, they're going to get us a lot of goals just by them two being themselves, because they're a nuisance. They've both got pace, they've both got power, they're both strong. Nunez is good in the air. Salah's we can
Look, Nunez could have had 10 goals by now. Easy.
Nunez is record.
Sitters, honestly, you can score that goal with their eyes closed. 10. You know about 10 by now.
I've got no look. Nunez he's just he's just come to this Liverpool side. He's just new language, new team, a team that's not even fighting. And that's another thing that we have to take into consideration. This side is not fighting at all. But soon, when we get our players back, I want to see our first 11 play. Obviously, I know that's not going to be for a while, but in a fighting side, we will see a completely different Liverpool. And I think these two will be a menace for any side. And I have got no qualms with Darwin. His goals per minute ratio is fantastic already. Yes, he could have added a few more goals, but who every striker that's coming takes some time. Bar Haaland, let's say, it takes a bit of time. And I've got no issues with him. I think the man's going to be a baller, me personally.
Waxy's not convinced.
No. I think, like I said, I said it maybe a couple of shows ago, that he's trying too hard. He's just trying too hard to impress, because there's like 85 million pound, weight on his shoulders that he needs to go out and all guns blazing, and he just needs to do the basics. I think the basics is important, and we can see that what his qualities are that can work for us right now. Like I said, get him in the box. We've got Trent, we've got Robbo. The perfect players to put a ball in. Get himself in the box. So he can get, that's his quality right now. Fitting into the team, the formation, will take time. He's come from Benfica. He's still young. Even Klopp doesn't know his formation. Nunez won't know if Klopp doesn't know himself at the moment. You know what I mean? So I don't blame Nunez where he's going to play. Playing the left, playing center. Playing the two, playing a diamond. No one knows at the moment. But for him, his quality right now is his height that we don't have. And in set pieces and in on the wide areas where Robbo and Trent on Friday get himself in the box and nowhere else at the moment.
Well, actually, we can't be one-dimensional where we just cross it from any position, just hoping he wins the header.
No, I'm just saying that's one side of his game. I'm saying, look, just concentrate on one side of his game. Where we've got Diaz, we would have our Diaz on the left, we would have Salah on the right. They can do all the other work. In between playing the 1-2 football with him, but look, he's in the box for the corner. He's West Ham. He scored 2 goals from headers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So at least it works for him, doesn't it?
Going to the third goal, then, Gene. I think there's been a lot of talk about what is a Liverpool goal at the moment. I don't know. We don't know what a Liverpool goal looks like. And whether you see on Twitter, on other podcasts, articles, everyone is asking the same question: what does a Liverpool goal look like at the moment? Because we don't know. We don't not seeing those patterns of play that you mentioned, and whether it's a lack of confidence, a lack of legs. There's no fluidity on the ball, especially on the ball where we just, perplexed, thinking, where is this Liverpool of, last season gone? But I think that third goal was a type of goal that we were supposed to be seeing a lot more this season. Why? It was, Trent higher up than what we saw in the first half. You whipped that ball to feet where Salah came and, received it off the, to his feet. And then Harvey Elliott running off the line, and he was that brilliant reverse pass and went on to score a cracking goal with a cracking finish. And I felt when I saw that goal, I thought, you know what? This was the type of goal, and this was the highlighted that tweak in sort of formation where Liverpool were expecting a lot more of that type of goal.
Aston, I think you've already summed the goal of the drop. He's bloody saying anything. Yeah. Look, you said it perfectly. It is the perfect goal. It's a goal that we all, Liverpool fans, really wanted to see. Trent, that triangle we spoke about at the start of the season, which is going to be pivotal in our play. Trent, Salah, and Elliott, and we saw it all in front of our eyes. That was the perfect goal, and it was a brilliant finish on his weaker foot as well. So giving Harvey a lot of credit. That's 2-2 in the Champions League for him. Look, if Harvey is going to play that progressive 8 role as him, this is what he has to be able to show. This is what he has to be able to do, is get a few more goals, because we can't just rely on Salah and Darwin, let's say, to get us goals. Okay, Firmino's done amazingly well, but the onus is on our midfield, more so on the progressive 8, to get us goals. And look, it'll do Harvey a world of good, and it was on his weaker foot. It'll do him a world of good, and hopefully we can see a lot more of this type of goal where we're actually creating something, where we see. Because I think honestly, we looked so. First half, I was so lost thinking, what the hell? Where is this goal going to come from? This goal going to come from? But we saw today that it gives you a glimpse, doesn't it? It gives you a glimpse that there is something brewing. If the team is playing well and team is playing right, there might be instances where we're capable of doing this.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you look at the stats, Liverpool and Ajax had similar amount of shots. But I think is that quality that came through, and it sort of highlighted, that the fact that Liverpool have a lot more quality than Ajax in the type of finishes that we saw in all 3 goals today. But do you think we need to make sure we still stop conceding those chances? And against a team like Ajax, and I know they were going for the kill today as they needed to get a result, but we still conceded 11 shots against that team tonight. 11. And going even into the next round, you could possibly face a much sterner test. We need to make sure we show up sharp.
I think the first 20 minutes when we were shocking, they had 5 chances. So the first 20 minutes. But I think fair play to, I think Gomez did well tonight. I think he had Brobby up top, right? For him. So and actually, I think Brobby did very, very. I mean, Gomez did really well in defense tonight. Van Dijk was his usual himself. He was all right. But I think conceding the goals, I think we just need a little bit more protection in front of the defense. That's all it is. Honestly, if you have that protection in front of defense, we can shut the counter-attack. When we've lost the ball and the transition, we can break that transition. Before, we used to do that fantastically well. We used to have Gini Wijnaldum, Hendo, Fabinho. When we've lost the ball, we quickly win it back again. So that counter-attack, that change in transition, we're conceding a lot more goals. If you look at the goals that we've conceded this season, high percentage of them is from our transition play. So we've lost the ball high up or middle of the park. They've come and they've scored a goal. And remember Van Dijk and Gomez and even Matip, they're not used to that because they had good level of protection for 2-3 years in front of them. So they never used to get the opportunity to actually defend properly because everything was more or less done for them. Remember, we used to play high line. Well, I don't think we do anymore, really. We used to play a high line. So everything that used to go behind them, Van Dijk used to, with his pace, or Gomez, used to clear up any ball that goes behind. But when it comes in front of us, that's when the issue is. When it's in front of us, we don't have that protection. Like I said, Fabinho doesn't have that legs to move side to side, maybe block a shot. Even how many of them dives into block a shot? No one does that outside the box for us.
Gene, going forward, then looking to our next fixture. Well, actually, no. I want your man of the matches today.
Egyptian King for me.
The Egyptian King for Gene. Waxy, who was your man of the match today? I thought obviously Salah was up there. Me personally, I thought Robbo really changed that game today. I thought he really carried us, started growing into the game after the first 10, 15 minutes, and even what was it? The first goal. Who scored the first goal?
Honestly, I thought Gomez was good today. Honestly, you got to look at the amount of times he actually stopped Robbie from playing. Yeah. And the other one in the second half, obviously, the referee had a shocker, right? But otherwise, in the second half, when the game was won by then, but people actually don't watch the game properly then. But Gomez was fantastic. When they were on the ball, how many blocks he made in defense when the ball was in the box, he did really well. No one watches that in the second half, but he has to still concentrate.
We mentioned Trent's block before we go.
Sorry?
Yeah, he got his fat ass in the way, didn't he?
Who?
See, this is the problem with these lot, Asim. The guy does block on the line, but nobody's going to mention anything that is, look, we've not even mentioned a goal line clearance from Trent.
It wasn't a goal line clearance, man.
Yeah, it was, man. He saved
the guy was on the outside to the box, man. It wasn't a goal line. Gomez was running back.
Give him some credit, man.
Look, it was a good block.
Look, I'm all right with Trent. I still think he's got plenty of space out there playing in this sort of similar, different role. I'd rather have him stay behind, have the game in front of him, and then have that switch to Robbo or wherever it is, even third goal. I am really, any defender, the best defender in the world, will look really bad if he's expected to overlap on the right-hand side, go in midfield, and then run back. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. But okay, look, I think probably after Chinese saying Salah grabbing the first assist and a goal, I think I'll probably go towards the Egyptian King. So I can't really argue with that. But yeah, I think Mohamed Bilal
who actually got the man of the match?
I don't know. I came straight on. I've not even seen Klopp's comments today as well. So if anyone in the comments can let us know who got the man of the match. But looking just before we go then, looking towards the weekend, lads, we've got Leeds who are struggling in the Premier League at the moment. And there's a few rumours around about their manager's position as well, as Gene checks the man of the match, wishing it's Salah. But Waxy, I'll come to you as Gene checks the man of the match. Leeds up next, Saturday, under the lights at Anfield. It should be a cracker. And it's normally a fixture that's got plenty of goals in it.
Robbo.
Yeah, I think
Robbo. Wow.
It's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be obviously Leeds are on the down. Liverpool, there or thereabouts. They're not playing great, but obviously for us, we just need a win. No, I don't care if the Leeds get it and we win 10-0. I don't care. We just need a win. Honestly, I just need a win.
They're getting it.
I know, because I'm getting it. I want them to get it. I want every team to get it, right? But on this one, I think I just want a win. You know what I mean? If it's a scrappy win against like West Ham, I'll take it. In our current state, in our current squad, what we've got. But hopefully, Thiago will be back from his ear, or might need to chop his ear off or something. God knows, right? Get his ear sorted and bring him back, man. Flipping it.
His ear off? What are you on about?
What does mean? We've been taking ages for a bloody ear infection.
Yeah. What's your problem with his ear?
Look, if he broke his leg, he's not running with his ears, is he? Flip it, heck, man. If he hurt his leg and he can't run, fair enough. He's not running with his ears, man.
With his ears.
Have you ever had an ear infection, Max?
All right,
yeah?
I see it day in, day out. I see it day in, day out, right? So, I know what.
Anyway, on that note.
Look, I get his frustration. Please leave his ear alone. I'm sure he'll be back. So orchestrating those things in midfield on Saturday night, come when Leeds come up to Anfield. But Gene, I'm with you. I think Leeds are gonna get it, and I'm waiting for that sort of Liverpool performance. And I know we got that intensity against City, and we've had some big wins against Bournemouth, and who was the other big win against Rangers, of course. But I think there is some team that's gonna get it, like you say.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get it, man. I've watched Leeds, watched a few games this season. They're gonna come. We're gonna actually. I think it'll be a. I'm confident. Let's save our predictions for closer to the game. Yeah, but they're
Friday night tune in.
Yeah, Friday night tune in. But I think that's the end of it. Liverpool were professional today as they secured their place in the knockout stages. I'm not too sure who we're gonna get, but I think that will all be revealed in the next couple of days. Actually, we've got another dead rubber.
Another game will be.
But I think this group is more or less decided. I think we can't really finish top, can we, because of the goal difference?
We have to score back. No, we can't.
What score do we need to win?
3-0.
3-0.
No.
Why? Yeah, that's head to head. So they beat us 4-1. On it.
Yeah, if it's head to head, it'll be 1-1 if we beat them. But then it goes to goal difference.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we beat them 3-0.
But look,
it's not the goal difference of the head to head. It's the goal difference of your.
It's not head to head and goal difference on the same game.
Yeah.
It's not the same game goal difference. Come on, man. It's not the same game goal difference.
They beat us 4-1, didn't they?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Why are you counting those though?
You should head to head, win or lose or draw.
No.
Win, lose or draw.
No.
Head to head.
Right.
Yes, it is.
If it is, if we win 3-0, we go through.
No. Okay, Chani. Let's say their goal difference was +5 compared to ours +1. So they were. Why?
If we beat them, and because we scored an away goal there, didn't we?
But, so they actually compared the two group games.
Yeah, because that's what you call a head to head.
But head to head is on win, lose or draw, not goals.
Yeah.
And goal differences.
It's goal. Then it's goal scored.
Goal scored in all the fixtures.
And all the group.
All the group.
Well, look, Bilal is agreeing with Chinese, so I'd be interested.
Oh, rubbish. No, that's rubbish, man.
But if I get this right, I'm getting you.
Napoli are top of the group.
I'm definitely. When I get off this box, I'm thinking this.
Yeah. Oh, okay, guys. Look, I think that it's time to wrap up. We'll be on again on Friday night as we break down and preview the game against Leeds United. It should be a cracker. Gina, you're going down, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Waxy, what about yourself?
Yeah, I've got a ticket.
You got a ticket?
Yeah,
okay. Maybe we'll see you fly down the A1 into Liverpool. Well, look, thank you very much, guys, for coming in as well. It's Liverpool. It's a lot more cheerful in the building, isn't it, when Liverpool win, and convincingly as well, so we can relax and sleep tonight. Agree with you now on goal difference.
See, I told you I'm not going Shaf. See, I met my mate Shaf for a long time.
I'm going to check that. I'm going to check that.
By the way, everybody, please smash a like, subscribe, let everybody, your friends and family know to please subscribe to us. See, lads, 3-0 is enough against Napoli. What's it?
No, it's a question mark. It's a question mark.
You put Chinese
mark at the end. Eunice doesn't want man.
I didn't see the question mark.
But Chinese, 3-0 might be enough if the goal difference is 3 as well.
Yeah, no, it's not. Napoli about 10 ahead to Asim.
About 20 ahead. They've been winning every game
10 ahead. They're beating Rangers 3-0 tonight.
There you go. So you can't finish top then, can you?
Anyway, take care.
Anyway, I'll mull over that. I'm going to probably Google that as well. Thank you very much. But yeah, Chinese right. Smash a like, drop a comment. And thank you very much for all your support as ever. We'll see you again on Friday night. Until then, take care and up the Reds.